In the ongoing investigation into the fake ID factory busted by ICE, officials are revealing new details about the scope of the operation.
A fake ID factory run by a Mexican couple inside a Tulsa home has been busted by ICE, protecting communities nationwide from thousands of criminal identities. Federal prosecutors say that factory was hidden in a Tulsa, Oklahoma residence, where two Mexican nationals quietly turned their home into a nationwide counterfeit document workshop. 47-year-old Karina Garcia-Salazar has been sentenced to 5 years in federal prison and 3 years of supervised release for leading the fake ID conspiracy. Her co-defendant, 41-year-old Jorge Augusto Prieto-Gamboa, received 15 months in federal prison and 3 years of supervised release for his role in the scheme. ICE investigators say their fake IDs didn't just fool landlords and employers, at least one ended up with a convicted narcotics smuggler. Tonight, Cipher Inquiry explains how this fake ID ring worked, how ICE stopped it, and what was prevented. You're watching Cipher Inquiry, where we turn real federal cases into clear, step stories about how agencies like ICE and HSI protect American communities behind the scenes. This case began when ICE Homeland Security Investigations Dallas uncovered a nationwide counterfeit document scheme centered on a single address in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Court documents show that from August 2020 until their arrests in February 2025, the couple worked together to create and sell thousands of fake IDs. Both defendants are Mexican nationals, Karina Garcia-Salazar, age 47, and Jorge Augusto Prieto-Gamboa, age 41, now federal felons for document fraud. Garcia-Salazar pleaded guilty to conspiracy to transfer identification documents and conspiracy to possess, with intent to use or transfer, 5 or more documents. Her sentence includes 5 years in prison, 3 years of supervised release, forfeiture of $32,000, and 45% of proceeds from real property used in the crime. Prieto-Gamboa admitted to conspiracy to possess 5 or more identification documents with intent to transfer, acknowledging he handled bulk fake IDs. In December 2025, he was sentenced to 15 months in federal prison and 3 years of supervised release, a shorter term but still a serious felony sentence. Between them, the couple manufactured counterfeit Social Security cards, lawful permanent resident green cards, state driver's licenses, and foreign passports. Together, these documents can build an entire false identity, allowing someone to work, rent, and travel under a name that does not belong to them. The turning point came when agents executed a search warrant at the couple's Tulsa residence, transforming suspicion into hard evidence. Inside, they seized at least 67 completed fake documents, cards fully printed and ready to be shipped or handed to waiting buyers. They also found more than 2,000 digital identification documents, templates, scans, and files sitting on computers and drives, ready to generate countless new fakes. The search turned up $32,000 in U.S. currency, a clear sign that fake IDs were not a hobby but a profitable criminal business. Agents seized printers, laminators, computers, and phones used to design, print, and coordinate shipments of fake IDs from the Tulsa house. Client ledgers listed names, orders, and payments, turning raw numbers into proof of a structured, repeat customer business. Those ledgers and shipping records revealed IDs being sent far beyond Oklahoma, with buyers in multiple states across the country. Bank records showed they typically charged between $120 and $150 per fake document, turning document fraud into steady income. For that price, buyers received IDs convincing enough to pass quick visual inspections, rent apartments, or get jobs under false identities. HSI Dallas Special Agent in Charge Travis Picard said counterfeit IDs open the door to a range of criminal activity, from drug trafficking to identity theft, and that document makers will be found and prosecuted. He praised special agents and partners for working tirelessly to shut down the operation and protect communities nationwide from the harm these documents enable. ICE officials stress that fake IDs are gateway tools. They seem like small crimes, but they give serious criminals the cover they need to move and operate. In this case, at least one ID from the Tulsa factory was sold to an individual later convicted of smuggling and trafficking narcotics into the United States. If ICE hadn't stepped in, that same pipeline could have armed even more smugglers and traffickers with believable identities, making them harder to catch and prosecute. The investigation was part of Operation Take Back America, a nationwide ICE initiative led by the Dallas Homeland Security Task Force to combat illegal immigration and dismantle transnational criminal organizations. The task force targets human smuggling, document fraud, and criminal support networks, going after infrastructure criminals, not just the frontline smugglers. The Social Security Administration joined this case because counterfeit SSN cards can be used to steal benefits, manipulate employment, and damage trust in federal systems. The Tulsa County Sheriff's Office provided local enforcement muscle, helping execute warrants and tie local observations back to the federal investigation. Tulsa police added street-level intelligence, linking neighborhood reports and suspicious activity to the bigger HSI picture. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol's involvement shows how fake drivers' licenses undermine roadside safety, making it harder for troopers to know who they've really stopped. ICE emphasizes that fake IDs aren't harmless. They can help fugitives evade warrants, repeat offenders reset their records, and criminals mask their past. Counterfeiters sometimes use stolen or invented data, meaning innocent people can suddenly find someone else living, working, or borrowing under their name. With counterfeit Social Security cards in the mix, criminals can attempt to collect benefits they're not entitled to, draining resources meant for legitimate recipients. Fraudulent green cards and licenses can trick employers, placing unvetted individuals into jobs that require trust, licensing, or access to sensitive areas. Landlords relying only on ID checks can be fooled into renting to traffickers, gang members, or fugitives who look clean on paper but aren't. Fake driver's licenses and passports can allow criminals to move from state to state or even across borders without triggering immediate alarms. Garcia-Salazar's 5-year sentence reflects the scale of the operation, the number of documents, and the seriousness of enabling crime across multiple states. Prieto-Gamboa's 15 months show that even assisting in counterfeit rings, not necessarily leading them, carries heavy federal consequences. After prison, both defendants will serve 3 years of supervised release, reporting to officers and facing restrictions to help prevent reoffending. Forfeiture in this case strips away profits $32,000 in cash and a share of property value so crime doesn't pay, even after sentencing. This case proves a simple truth. A normal-looking house in Tulsa can pose a national-level threat when it becomes a hub for fake IDs. By dismantling this factory, ICE likely prevented thousands more fake identities from entering circulation, stopping unknown numbers of future frauds and crimes before they began. For communities, that means fewer anonymous traffickers renting apartments next door, and fewer imposters using forged documents to blend into everyday life. By publicly announcing this sentencing, ICE sends a message to would-be counterfeiters. If you profit from fake IDs, agents are already closing in. Operation Take Back America wasn't built overnight. ICE launched it as a long-term push to hit the support systems that let illegal networks thrive inside the country. Targeting fake document mills is strategic. Without believable IDs, smugglers struggle to rent stash houses, move drivers, or open bank accounts to wash money. By going after infrastructure instead of just frontline criminals, ICE forces transnational groups to spend more time, money, and risk rebuilding their operations. A city like Tulsa might seem far from national security headlines, but one fake ID hub tested nationwide proves that small places can play outsized roles. At thousands of documents over 4+ years, even if only a fraction went to serious criminals, the potential harm multiplies quickly across states and victims. To prove this wasn't random, investigators followed the money. Deposits matching $120 and $150 payments, stacked over time, linked to specific clients and shipments. Digital forensics teams imaged computers and drives, preserving ID templates and communication logs that showed orders, edits, and delivery instructions in black and white. Agents then built a timeline. When templates were created, when money came in, when packages went out, matching everything to what the couple was doing. That digital and financial data turned into indictments, converting scattered facts into conspiracy charges that showed planning, agreement, and clear criminal intent. In federal law, conspiracy doesn't require every detail to be perfect. It requires an agreement to break the law and steps taken to carry it out. Multiple counts in this case, like separate conspiracy and possession charges, reflect different aspects of the same scheme: planning, possessing, and moving large numbers of IDs. When HSI leadership says agents worked tirelessly, it reflects months of surveillance, data analysis, interviews, and paperwork behind a few seconds of sentencing headlines. For Tulsa, the bust removed a dangerous operation next door. For the nation, it cut off a source of fake identities feeding multiple criminal pipelines. Document mills like this stay hidden by blending into regular neighborhoods, using everyday equipment, and shipping discreetly so parcels look like ordinary mail. They get caught when patterns break, when too many similar IDs appear, when money flows don't match normal income, or when one arrest leads agents back to the source. Sometimes an arrested customer becomes the thread that unravels an entire factory, trading information about where they bought their fake identity. Client ledgers are gold for prosecutors. They connect names, money, and documents, turning vague suspicions into concrete counts and restitution calculations. Even deleted files and messages can leave traces, as forensic tools recover fragments that show orders, artwork, and edits for fake documents. Seizing $32,000 in cash doesn't just hurt profits. It also helps show how much crime was being done and how valuable the fake ID trade became. Forfeiting a share of property proceeds sends a message. Your house, if used as a crime base, can become part of the penalty, not just the backdrop. Behind every sentencing chart, there's a family suddenly facing prison, financial loss, and a different future because of decisions made in that home. A federal felony record for document fraud follows a person for life, affecting immigration options, employment, housing, and any attempt to cross borders legitimately. For anyone thinking about turning a printer into a fake ID business, this case is a warning. Short-term cash can lead straight to long-term federal supervision. Buyers should realize that every purchase supports criminals and becomes evidence. When a ring gets rolled up, ledgers and bank trails can point straight back to you. For viewers, this case teaches that what looks like a simple fake card can be part of a much larger chain of harm and deception. Victims can include people whose data was copied, communities infiltrated by traffickers, and those who lose trust in systems meant to protect them. Operation Take Back America has generated multiple cases like this, each one removing a piece of the support structure that keeps illegal networks functioning. Each operation is unique, but Tulsa fits a common pattern. Ordinary address, specialized equipment, careful shipping, and money constantly flowing in. HSI shared details of this sentencing publicly as both accountability and deterrence, showing communities and criminals alike what happens when fake IDs are industrialized. Cipher Inquiry's focus is to connect these dots for you between local houses, national operations, and the bigger security picture most people never see. Recap the key facts. A Tulsa home, a Mexican couple, thousands of fraudulent IDs, $32,000 in cash, 67 physical documents, and more than 2,000 digital files seized. Recap the sentences. 5 years for Karina Garcia-Salazar, 15 months for Jorge Prieto-Gamboa, plus supervised release and forfeiture penalties. Recap the operation. Part of Operation Take Back America, led by HSI Dallas and Tulsa, with help from SSA, the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office, Tulsa Police Department, and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. Ask yourself, how safe would you feel knowing fake IDs from a neighbor's house were circulating among smugglers and traffickers nationwide? This case shows just how vulnerable communities can be when criminals can simply purchase a new, believable identity for the right price. It also shows law enforcement persistence, years of crime unraveled through careful work that ended in convictions and seized assets. For viewers, the simple lesson is that fake IDs are not harmless. They are tools that real criminals eagerly pay for and depend on. What surprised you most today, the years the ring operated, the thousands of documents produced, or the link to a convicted drug smuggler? Tell us in the comments which fact shocked you the most, and whether you think the sentences here were too light, too harsh, or about right. Also tell us what cases you want Cipher Inquiry to cover next. More ICE document fraud, drug trafficking, AI espionage, or cybercrime. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit like so more people curious about how ICE really works can discover this video. Subscribe to Cipher Inquiry to get more deep dives into federal operations that don't always make front page news but shape safety behind the scenes. Turn on notifications so you're the first to know when we release new episodes on ICE, DFI, and other major cases. Cipher Inquiry exists to translate complex cases into clear stories so you don't have to dig through press releases and legal filings yourself. Check out our other videos on ICE investigations, drug cartels, and espionage to see how different federal operations connect across the same criminal networks. Share this video with friends, colleagues, or anyone who thinks fake IDs are harmless so they can see how much damage one factory can cause. This episode was titled, Shocking ICE Investigation. Thousands of fake IDs, Federal Bust Exposed. And now you know exactly why that title fits. From a quiet Tulsa street to a federal courtroom, this story shows how ordinary addresses can hide extraordinary levels of crime. It's a reminder that when something doesn't add up, unusual visitors, suspicious mail, strange activity, local tips can become the first clue in operations like this. ICE credited SSA, the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office, Tulsa Police Department, and the Oklahoma Highway Patrol as essential partners, showing that federal-local teamwork is what breaks these cases open. The biggest takeaway is that fake IDs aren't small offenses. They can be the foundation on which entire criminal operations stand or collapse. If you want to keep understanding how these foundations work, Cipher Inquiry will be here with more cases from ICE, DAVI, and beyond. Thank you for staying through this entire breakdown. Your time and attention are exactly what make deep, detailed episodes like this possible. Tell us if you prefer cases about document fraud like this, or if you'd rather we focus on drug seizures, espionage, or cybercrime. Our goal is to build a community of viewers who care about how federal law enforcement really works, not just how it looks in movies. By commenting, liking, and subscribing, you're not just watching, you're helping us choose which stories to explain and which operations to highlight. If this is your first Cipher Inquiry video, welcome. If it's not, we always go deeper than just the headline. We base our coverage on official releases and court documents, then add context so you can see how investigations really work over time. In a world full of rumors, having clear, documented examples of how agencies like ICE operate is one way to stay grounded and informed. Staying sharp means paying attention to details like how a simple fake ID can tie into cross-border drug smuggling and long-term criminal networks. One last time, a Tulsa Mexican couple, thousands of counterfeit IDs, nationwide reach, and a federal sentencing that shut their factory down. The title said, "Shocking ICE Investigation, Thousands of Fake IDs, Federal Bust Exposed." And this is the story behind those words. Watching these episodes all the way through helps YouTube show them to more people who care about serious, factual crime and security stories. If you want more detailed, no-nonsense breakdowns like this instead of quick, shallow clips, your support is what makes that possible. This is Cipher Inquiry, your guide through the biggest federal cases shaping safety inside the United States. Stay informed, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next operation.